JohnStamos just broke his silence, and what he said about LoriLoughlin's ex-husband has everyone talking. The actor didn't sugarcoat a thing. On a recent podcast, he called Mossimo Giannulli a terrible narcissist and admitted he'll never speak to him again. But this wasn't just a throwaway comment. It came from years of watching someone he deeply cares about slowly fall apart behind the scenes. Fans who grew up watching Full House remember Stamos and Loughlin as the perfect on-screen couple, Uncle Jesse and Aunt Becky, the TV dream team. But what most people didn't realize was that their off-screen friendship was just as real and long-lasting. And now, decades later, Stamos is finally revealing how much pain Lori endured in her marriage and how that relationship nearly destroyed her spirit. This isn't just another Hollywood breakup story. It's a rare glimpse into what really happens when fame, loyalty, and love collide, and when someone you thought you knew turns out to be very different behind closed doors. Long before the headlines, JohnStamos and LoriLoughlin's connection was pure Hollywood magic. From the moment they stepped on the Full House set in the late 80s, their chemistry was undeniable, so natural that fans begged for them to be a real couple off-screen. But what most people didn't realize was that their bond went much deeper than scripted romance. They became lifelong friends who supported each other through every high and low that fame brought. Over the years, Stamos has often called Lori a saint, a word he doesn't throw around lightly. He's seen the way she treats people, the way she carries herself with grace, and how she always tries to fix the mess, even when it's not hers to fix. While others in Hollywood drifted apart after Full House ended, John and Lori stayed close, showing up for each other in ways the cameras never caught. That's what made Stamos' latest comments so powerful. This wasn't just a co-star offering sympathy. It was a friend who's been quietly watching someone he loves take hit after hit, both personally and publicly. His loyalty to Lori has never wavered, but it's clear his patience with the man who hurt her finally ran out. And as it turns out, the cracks in Lori's marriage to Mossimo had been forming long before the public ever noticed. After nearly 3 decades together, LoriLoughlin and Mossimo Giannulli's marriage finally came crashing down. And according to Stamos, it wasn't sudden at all. Behind the red carpet smiles and picture-perfect family photos, things had been crumbling for years. Stamos revealed that Lori had put up with a lot over the years of this guy, hinting at struggles that went far beyond what the public ever saw. When news broke in early October that the couple had split after 28 years of marriage, it stunned fans. But those closest to Lori weren't surprised. Stamos said she was devastated, describing her as someone who had lived her life with kindness and integrity, only to have it blow up in her face. To him, it wasn't just a breakup. It was a collapse of something she had worked so hard to hold together. For years, Lori tried to keep her family stable, especially for her daughters Olivia Jade and Isabella. But Stamos hinted that whatever Mossimo did behind the scenes busted her up to the core. That single line says everything. It wasn't just disappointment, it was deep emotional damage. She stood by him through public shame, legal battles, and personal storms. Yet when the dust settled, it seemed she was the one left picking up the pieces. And according to Stamos, the roots of that heartbreak go all the way back to one of Hollywood's most infamous scandals. The world watched in disbelief back in 2019 when LoriLoughlin and Mossimo Giannulli's names became linked to one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood history, the college admissions case. Overnight, their reputation flipped from adored TV couple and fashion mogul to symbols of privilege and corruption. But behind the headlines, the reality was far more painful, especially for Lori. When federal investigators revealed that the couple had paid $500,000 to get their daughters into USC as fake crew recruits, Lori's world imploded. Stamos later admitted that he texted her right after the news broke, and she had no idea that the story was being blasted on every news channel across the country. That was the last time he heard from her for a while. The silence said everything. While the public mocked her, Stamos quietly stood by her side. He saw how the pressure crushed her, how the weight of the scandal didn't just ruin her career, but strained every part of her personal life. Both Lori and Mossimo ended up pleading guilty in 2020. She served 2 months in prison, he served 5 months. But when she came out, she wasn't the same. According to Stamos, the fallout didn't just cost Lori her reputation, it exposed cracks in her marriage that had been hiding in plain sight. While she tried to rebuild and move forward, the emotional toll seemed to deepen. And in Stamos' eyes, one thing was clear. The chaos that surrounded Lori always seemed to circle back to Mossimo. JohnStamos didn't hold back, not even a little. When it came to Mossimo Giannulli, he made it crystal clear how he feels. In his own words, all the negativity and hardships Lori's been through in her life are connected to this guy. That's a powerful statement, especially from someone who's known Lori for decades and witnessed her private battles up close. Stamos described Mossimo as a terrible narcissist, someone consumed by ego and image that left emotional wreckage in his wake. He said whatever he did to her, it busted her up to the core. Coming from Stamos, that line wasn't gossip, it was grief. It sounded like someone who had watched a good friend suffer quietly while pretending everything was fine for the cameras. He hinted that Lori had spent years cleaning up the messes Mossimo left behind, always trying to make things look okay from the outside. Stamos even admitted he was by her side through a lot of it, though he refused to expose details out of respect for her privacy. Still, his tone said enough. This wasn't just a rocky marriage. It was years of emotional strain that slowly broke her down. To the world, Mossimo was a successful designer with a picture-perfect family. But to Stamos, he was the source of a storm that never seemed to end. And for the first time, John wasn't afraid to say it out loud. But his honesty didn't stop there. He went even further, revealing why he's completely cut Mossimo out of his life for good. When JohnStamos said he'd never talk to Mossimo again, he meant it, and the emotion behind those words said more than any gossip headline ever could. You could hear the frustration, the disappointment, and maybe even a little heartbreak in his voice. For years, Stamos had kept his opinions private, but now he wasn't holding anything back. He called Giannulli a terrible narcissist, explaining that people like that rarely ever change, unless they're willing to face the truth about themselves. It was a rare moment of raw honesty from a Hollywood star known for his charm and composure. He said, "I don't think you ever get out of that unless you're able to," before asking out loud, "How do you bust that up?" That line hit differently. It sounded like he wasn't just talking about Mossimo, but about all the damage that kind of ego can do to the people around it. Maybe Stamos had seen the manipulation, the control, the quiet emotional wear and tear that Lori endured. Maybe he had tried to step in before, only to realize that some people just can't be saved until they want to be. What's clear is that Stamos made a choice to protect his peace and stand by Lori, even if it meant cutting Mossimo out completely. For him, loyalty means taking sides when the truth demands it. And yet, despite all the anger, Stamos' final message wasn't about revenge. It was something surprisingly different. Even after everything he said about Mossimo, Stamos ended his message with something unexpected: compassion. Instead of doubling down on anger, he admitted he actually prays for the man he refuses to ever speak to again. He said, "I pray that he gets a hold of whatever hole he's trying to fill. I pray that he realizes what he had was everything anyone could ever hope for, and that he gets some help." Those words revealed a side of Stamos that fans have always loved: honest, emotional, and deeply human. You could tell he wasn't speaking from hate, he was speaking from pain. He's seen someone he cared about get torn apart by a toxic relationship, and instead of gloating, he wished healing on the person who caused it. That's rare in Hollywood, and even rarer among friends caught in the crossfire. Stamos' final words weren't just about Mossimo, they were about Lori too, about the quiet strength it takes to rebuild after betrayal, about the kind of loyalty that doesn't fade when the cameras stop rolling. Through it all, he stayed in her corner, defending her character and reminding the world that sometimes good people get caught in bad storms. It's a reminder that behind every celebrity headline is a real human story, one filled with heartbreak, mistakes, forgiveness, and maybe even redemption. And if Stamos' words prove anything, it's this: even in Hollywood, genuine friendship still exists. Because when the lights fade and the scandals die down, what truly matters is who shows up and who never leaves.